have my updated Ancestry DNA results. I actually did my Ancestry DNA about 6 years ago. Now, they did an update 2 different times and it just does not make any sense to me why they are doing it, but I understand why they're doing it because more people are taking the DNA test, so they can update their information, and it leaves room for more accuracy or something like that. But still, what I got for my first test is what I thought was somewhat true. So before I show you the percentages from my updated results and the old ones, I want to tell you a little bit about my background so you can kind of have an idea. So I identify as African American. I am a black woman, and my parents are both black. They both identify as African American. And so I grew up just knowing that African American, you know, I'm sure we're from Africa somewhere, but that's all I knew. So I asked more questions, like to my grandparents. So I was mostly told all my life that we have some French ancestors. My mother's side of the family is from Louisiana. So my grandfather, he was born and raised in Louisiana. It's just a mixture, it's Creole people down there. So I was always told that, you know, you have a French grandfather, or you have a French great-great-great-great-grandfather, and stuff like that. And then I was told that my great-grandmother was like half Native American. Lies. I have family members who actually did research on my family, which is amazing. And I recently got this book last year from my grandfather. I never knew he had it. My ancestors were white, were immigrants from England who came to and settled in Virginia in 1623. I'm reading factual information, by the way. So that was the first generation, 1650-ish, 60. That's when they started to have kids, around 1650. And then a couple of generations later, my 5th generation grandfather was born. So he was a white man. He was a slave owner. So he actually slept with a slave, which is my 5th generation grandmother, and she was black. But they described her as, I'm going to find it, they described her as mulatto. So she had mulatto and Indian Caucasian mix. So John Pittman, Molise Pittman, they slept together and they ended up having my 4th generation grandmother, and her name is Mary Pittman. Mary Pittman was biracial. She had Honduran Spanish features. It said she moved to New Orleans and met my grandfather. So that's where the French side comes in. Louis Lazine Dupree is my 4th generation grandfather, and he spoke French Creole. They're known for speaking Creole, Louisiana French Creole. So that was one of the first things I asked my mom, like, did you guys speak it? Like, did my grandfather speak it? Did anybody speak it? They never spoke the actual language. And you know, I love to learn languages. So for me to hear that my 4th generation grandfather spoke Louisiana French Creole, just think, like, that could have been passed down generation after generation after generation, and it would have got to me, and I would have been speaking some French Creole up in this piece. As far as my dad's side of the family, everyone grew up in Memphis, Tennessee. There's really not much history or, you know, about where they come from and things like that. So let me dive right into reading you the test results. So my old test results, when I first did the Ancestry test, it said that I was 75% African, of course. And then the highest percentage was Nigeria, 35%. Ivory Coast, Ghana, 15%. Senegal, 8%. Cameroon, Congo, 7%. And then I had trace regions, which was Africa, Southeastern Bantu, which was 4%, Benin, Togo, 2%, Africa, South Central Hunter-Gatherers, 2%, Africa North. It said Native American, less than 1%. I don't even know why they had that on there. I was 24% European, and that 13%, which is the highest percentage, was Great Britain. And then for trace regions, which was like a low percentage, Scandinavia 3%, Ireland 2%, European Jewish 2%, Europe West 2%, Italy, Greece 1%, Finland, Northwest Russia less than 1%. So by looking at all of this, it was pretty cool to see. In the Europe West, I think represents like France and things like that. And then my mom also did the DNA test as well. Let me put my glasses on so I can see better. Okay, let's go. So my mother, she had 73% Africa, 18% Nigeria, Ivory Coast, Ghana 11%, Senegal 11%, African Southeastern Bantu 6%, Cameroon Congo 18%, Benin Togo 3%, African South Central Hunter-Gatherers 3%, and 1% Mali. And then for Europe, she had 25%, which was Great Britain 5%, Scandinavia 6%, Ireland 2%, Europe West 3%, Italy, Greece 2%, and Iberian Peninsula 6%. So she had some Spanish blood in her at that time. And then for Asia, she had, I believe, less than 1% Asia. Less than 1% Native American. Now let's get to my updated results. This is the final update that I have, the most recent one that I have that I updated last in August of 2019. So Nigeria, it went back up to 35%. Cameroon, Congo, Southern Bantu peoples 18%. England, Wales, and Northwestern Europe, which is the Midlands, England 21%, and that makes total sense because that's where my ancestors came from, and I have the factual information, so that makes total sense. Mali 8%, Benin and Togo 8%, Senegal 3%, Sweden 2%, that was not there before, Ireland and Scotland 2%, Ghana 1%. I had like 18% before and it went down to 1%, you know. Germanic Europe 1%, and Southern and Eastern Africa hunter-gatherers 1%. Yeah, so those are my updated Ancestry results. It just threw me off. And so how am I supposed to trust that it's accurate? Because they could have another update and then it's not accurate anymore. So how can I trust my DNA with them? No, I'm just kidding. This is interesting nonetheless, but I feel like I need to take another DNA test just to see and compare my results. But thank you all for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.